top of his game, the way he's doing. Just tell you a little bit about my story. My dad, who was Winston Buddy Shaw, he's been coaching for like 30-some odd years. He's one of the top coaches in the area. He just got chosen as Coach of the Year in the U.S. Amateur Boxing. And I just started this thing back in 2001 with my own son. That's how I got back into boxing. I boxed for about 6 years, and then I got out of it when I was like 19. So kind of kept a little bit of my wits about myself, went back to school, college, all that stuff. But
not important stuff.
But I've always loved boxing. It's been in my blood. And what I'm doing now, I guess I was just destined to do. I mean, I've been around it all my life. And once my son stopped boxing, I just picked it up and started my own gym. That kind of failed. So I'm over with my dad, working with him and his guys.
Can you tell us about the award your dad recently got too?
Yeah, that was from the St. Louis City. They just honored him with a plaque, and they just Googled, Coach of the Year plaque. But they awarded him with this the plaque for the city, where they give like it's like immortalizing him. He's set up on Google now, to where you can Google Winston Buddy Shaw, and it tells the history about him in St. Louis and boxing and all that stuff. So the city of St. Louis did that for him.
Well, we'd like to have him come out on the show sometime, if you don't mind, Brian.
I will. I definitely
That'd be great.
And
where is that gym at?
That gym is at Gamble. It's right there off of Gamble and Jefferson, right near the superstation right there off of Jefferson and Dr. King.
North Jefferson.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, as a boxing guy, what do you think of MMA?
Listen, this guy is teaching me everything about MMA. And like I say, I'm a guy that's used to just use my hand. These guys go, full force, his hands, feet, wrestling the whole nine. So I take my hat off to him. I couldn't do it. I'd probably be a 30-second tap out guy if I couldn't get you with my hands. So I respect these guys. MMA is coming harder than boxing now, and I just want to try to work with these guys and hopefully give them some skills where they can even do even better. But this guy here, I take my hat off to him. He's my new hero in boxing, because this guy's been around. He took a 2-year layoff, came back, and he really dedicated himself. And I just told him, it was his time before we even went to the nationals. I told him on the local level, I said, you're gonna go all the way to the top of this game. And sure enough, he did. His dad, believed in me. He told me he wanted me to work with him because, he knew that I knew a lot about this game. He respects my dad 110%. And they've always come up there and worked with us, even when he was little. He was a little bitty guy.
When I go to Gamble and Buddy, when his dad's working with James, I sit down, sit back and watch. And every once in a while, Buddy would be like, James, you see what I'm doing? Here, come here. Let me show you. And I'm like, okay. And then I'd go back to the gym, and I would train with him. And then if there was something that I didn't, couldn't figure out to understand, I'd call him up, Buddy, I got James doing this, he's doing this. What do I need to do different? Then he would tell me over the phone what to do.
Wow, that's a master, yeah.
Buddy probably got more, and Brian would know this, Buddy's probably got more national champions in the junior division than any other coach in St. Louis.
He's made, he's had over a 30-year period, he's probably had over 50 champions. I'm talking about from the national JOs to silver gloves to the ringside, national golden gloves, U.S. championship. He's been around this game for a long time, and right now he's training one of the top little bitty guys, 112-pound Stephon Young, who's going to be competing in the U.S. championships this coming summer, and also in the Golden Gloves. So shout out to them, and much respect to the whole boxing family.
There you go. Well, you do okay in MMA probably, because if you notice, if you watch the UFC, striking's coming back.
Oh yeah, I was going to say the same thing. You really are seeing where the boxing and the kickboxing is really influencing MMA more and more.
Well, guys,
well, the last UFC there was no submissions at all. It was all stand up. Nobody could take anybody down. It went to the ground. They stood right back up and punched each other.
Well, they were kind of afraid of the jiu-jitsu guys and the wrestlers for a little while, and I think they quit throwing kicks a little bit for the most part. They were afraid to do it because it was easier to get taken down if you got caught. And now you're starting to see them coming back with it, and the wrestlers are catching up with their striking. You know, then some of the guys that were more just ground guys have now cross-trained into that aspect.
They're mixed martial artists. I mean, they are getting to be exactly what they're supposed to be.
Well, see, when we first started doing this, me and Seth Jordan, we sat back and we looked at, we watched MMA, we watched the fights, we watched every aspect about it. And I told Seth, I said, the weakest part of MMA is the stand-up. These guys do not know how to box. So what we started doing, we put all of our training towards boxing first, you know, because the fight starts from your feet. Before you get to your ground, it starts from your feet. And they got it like when Josh, when I got with him, I said, Josh, I'm not trying to make you a boxer. I'm trying to make your wrestling better through your boxing. Okay? Don't just shoot in on a guy. You know, work your way in. Once you get on the inside, then take it down. Too many wrestlers, they want to play jiu-jitsu. They want to go to their back.
Yeah, I've been showing my fighter Adam. He's worked mostly all stand-up. And now I've got him with Jason Salufo out there, but it's time for him to start learning the ground. And the first thing that he's been learning is how to fight on your back. You know, those are the two things I think: standing up and then on your back. Then after that, you fill in the middles if you don't come from that kind of kick.
So we go from stand-up to the wrestling, then to your back. Because the last case scenario, I mean, Josh's been wrestling since he was a kid. My 6-year-old has been wrestling, you know, since he just started. And the moment you walk into a wrestling mat, the first thing they teach you is what, Josh? Is to stay off your back. He froze.
Right, and if you're a stand-up fighter, you want that anyway, but you better learn how to fight from your back in MMA, because there's a lot of guys, that's their goal, is to get you down, you know, on the ground right away.
Gotta fight from all
Yep.
places.
But as you're learning as you go, you can't wait till you've arrived to have your first fight. You know, you can't wait till you've done it all. Right.
And
Switch to
James,
you guys.
when's your next fight? You don't have one lined up at this time?
We got something tentatively scheduled April 11th.
Okay.
We're going to try to get him matched up with the top open guy, which is 17 and older here in St. Louis. He's that good. We think that we can handle him. They're going to give us a handicap that we're going to ask for. Instead of going the open 3 minutes, we're going to go 2 minutes with this guy. But I think James got enough to really handle him and beat him.
Josh Foster looking at April 18th, we might be going down to Olive Branch, Mississippi, to find a kid from Indiana. He's a good fighter.
Excellent. And Brian, if somebody wants to train boxing with you here in the St. Louis area, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, they can reach me at brian63138 at yahoo.com, or they can call me at 314-953. What's my number?
It happens to everybody on the show. Say it one more time so if they can get it.
314-265-2153. Gamble Recreation Center is where we train out of. One of the greatest gyms here, one of the greatest coaches, greatest men that you can ever meet in St. Louis. And I just real quick, I want to talk about my son who's playing one of the second best sports in this area. Everybody knows what that is, right?
Baseball.
Baseball. So, shout out to him.
2.5 behind hockey.
Hazelwood Central High School, where he's playing baseball.
What position are you playing?
I play first base.
You look at first baseman.
Stephen, thanks for being on the show. And Brian, thanks for being on the show.
Is your nickname Stretch?
Yeah. You senior this year?
No, I'm a junior.
Junior, okay.
Jason, if they want to train with you down in Farmington and at Farmington MMA, how do they get a hold of you?
Just give me a call, area code 573-579-1107.
Can you throw that out one more time for us?
573-579-1107.
Excellent. And Josh, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
You are going to be fighting this Saturday night in Rolla, Missouri, Cage Championships.
Yes.
16, I believe, is the number. Good luck in your fight this Saturday.
Thanks.
It's going to be a great one, guys. I believe if you want to get a hold of tickets, you can reach out to me, 314-580-0143, and then I will put you in touch with Jason Cooper and Championship. What's it called? Cage Championships. Actually, you can also go to cagechampionships.com, and you can get tickets there or tickets at the door there in Rolla.
That's going to be a good fight. Ryan House is a pretty good fighter. He's well respected. Comes from a good gym with Mike Rogers and those guys. They're all pretty tough. And it's going to be a good one.
Great.
I want to know when I'm going to get you on one of the Warriors.